Welcome to the podcast, The Story Behind the Song with Denny Carleton and Friends. On this podcast, you will hear stories, listen to archived interviews from Denny's previous radio show, The Cleveland Music Connection, and hear what Denny and his friends are up to now. So here is my favorite singer, songwriter, recording artist, author, music teacher, radio personality, Denny Carleton.
Hello, this is Denny Carleton. This is the Cleveland Music Connection, the story behind the song. Today we're going to have the second part of the window interview. The first part of the window interview was me basically narrating the history of the band. The Window was the surprise band, changed their name to the Window, played out locally in Northeast Ohio. For about 8 or 9 years, we recorded a lot of different songs, about 8 songs, and now we're putting out. Last year, we put out the Open Window, which was remastered versions of the songs that we had recorded. So, if you want to know more about this, go back to the first one. It's called Window, Open Window, Part 1. This is Part 2, where I interview the other guys that were in the band, some of the other guys that were in the bands. So, and I'm going to play a couple songs here pretty quickly. The first one that I'm going to play is just a little sample of a song that I wrote years ago called Bring Music Back to the Jukebox. The band of Tommy Mackel, Mark Luthart, and Mac Schafer played on it, and then we had a guest named Phil Barron, and it's kind of a rockin' tune, and it's talking about going back to innocence, back to the jukebox, back to simplicity, and here's a taste of that. This is the Window doing Bring Music Back to the Jukebox. That was Bring Music Back to the Jukebox by The Window. This download, Open Window, has 8 songs, and probably the most well-known song by far is Boy Can I Dance Good. Boy Can I Dance Good is a song that I wrote back in 1970s, and a punk band, The Pagans, which I played in for a while, did the song. It was also many different bands, about 10 bands have done covers of this song. So this has always been my 2 favorites. I always liked the bands that I was in. I liked the Milks version of the song, and I also like, of course, the Windows version. I was in both bands. The Windows is much more like a classic rock version as opposed to a punk version. I have a memoir called Welcome to My World, which is available on Amazon. I have a great detailed thing about explaining this song, where it was coming from at the time in the 70s that I wrote it, sort of the David Bowie glam rock sort of period. And so this is the Windows version, a little bit of Boy Can I Dance Good. And most of these things are on YouTube, Spotify, some things are on my website, some things aren't, but definitely check it out. So this is Boy Can I Dance Good by The Window, and then the rest of the show I'm going to have interviews and recollections with Mark Luthart, Mike Way, and Mac Schafer. One of my favorite memories was when I'm here with my friend Mark Luthart. He played lead guitar in the surprise band The Window for many years, and we did a lot of recording together. How are you, Mark?
Hey, Dennis. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. I right after I was playing in the band, I think it's like maybe 79 or 80, and I was playing with Doug Bukovic at Surfside in a band, and the band broke up, and immediately I heard that you and Mike Way were starting a band with Roy LeBoy, I think, called the Surprise Band. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah, that is how I remember it. And I think it was 79, come to think of it, because we started Angel Recording, the studio, in 79, too. So it was right at that time that we started the band, and we wanted to play, number one, and we needed to make a little extra money on the side, too.
Yeah, that was kind of a theme for you and I, because once I got in the band, and it was like a marriage or a match, where I had started my tape label a couple years later, Greenlight Records, and you were recording. First, you and Mike had the business, and then Mike had personal reasons. He got out of the band and out of the studio, and then you were full-time in the studio. That's right?
Correct, yeah. It took a few years to take off, just like any business. So, I had to really hustle, and then the band really ended up helping me out, money-wise, to pay some of the bills, because those first couple of years actually were pretty lean.
I think in the Surprise Band, I always played in bands, but I had real rarefied era in the 60s. I played in the choir and all those. They were like little concert bands. But when I got in the Surprise Band in the window, I sort of became a player. It became like a job. We did it 3 nights a week usually for a long time. And I had that little stable income coming in, and it really helped me with my tape label, Greenlight Records. And you and I ended up working so well together. We recorded a bunch of people, and when I look back on it, it was like a pretty cool music scene. Although I didn't realize that at the time, but we had a lot of people in their 30s or 40s or 20s coming in and recording, and at Angel, and then sometimes I would put them on my tape label, my little cassette label, Greenlight Records. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the people that came in and recorded at Angel.
Yeah, Angel was a labor of love for me. I loved being around musicians and songwriting and producing, so it was really fun. And I love the people. So some of the people that came in, even though Angel Recording really was a demo studio, 8-track starting off with Ampex equipment, and then a 16-track Ampex to finish out the 80s. But I had like Simona Cook came in, the daughter of the
You Send Me.
Yes, right. That's right.
Sam Cooke's daughter.
Very good friends, and then a lot of local Cleveland people coming in doing their songs and demoing their songs. Deadly Ernest, Kevin Valentine from Donnie Iris, Tom Jarvis and the French Leonards, Dennis Lewin from Boku. I could go on.
John Bassett. We recorded a demo with John Bassett.
That's right.
Famous.
Bassett. Yeah. Famous Cleveland folk guy.
Oh yeah.
And, Wally Bryson, Randy Kawan, Kevin Raleigh from Michael Stanley, just so many different people. Phil Barron, who was a really great keyboard player. So it was really great working with all these people and recording them. And, like I said, I just loved the whole process of being around musicians and producing and helping them produce their songs and helping them in their careers, really.
A lot of it I took for granted, and it was, a lot of things as the years go on, you're just busy living life. But when we stopped and we recorded a lot of songs ourselves, not a lot, but maybe 5 or 6 songs, 7 songs or 6 or 7 songs in the studio. And when we decided that we should remaster these, some of these recordings, and put them out as Mark. We did quite a few recordings together, and one of my favorite memories, because it was funny, was mixing Fill in the Blank. That's a song that I've played twice during this show already. My memory is it wasn't automation. Is that how you say it? Automation. Thank you.
There was no automation in boards back then, or there was, but you had to have a $500,000 board, which obviously we didn't have. So
yeah, so instead of assigning things to certain channels, we could pan them, but occasionally we wanted to have a guitar part go from the left to the right panning. We'd have to move that with a lever, and then the volumes had to go up and down. So that's what we did, right? We should have been octopuses, and we could have done a better job. Maybe we ran out of hands.
Right, exactly. That was a tough mix. There was a lot going on, a lot of guitars, a lot of vocals, a lot of backup vocals, and each one of those things had to be brought up and down by hand because there was no automation then.
Oh.
And
yeah, I love that. Let's listen to that the guitar solo at the end with how we did it by hand, and we'll come right back.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fill in the blank. I love the way the guitar works on that, Mark. But mixing and music has come such a long way. Some of the stuff that you did for remastering, you had so much more equipment or different equipment than you used to, right?
Right. I'll tell you, I think a lot of guys nowadays take it for granted, but I got to use a Neve console channel strip on the remaster, and a Neve console is, to someone who doesn't know, those were some of the best boards. Rupert Neve is one of the guys who made boards for the Beatles back in the day.
Oh.
He was really phenomenal. So Rupert Neve, I had that, and then I also used SSL equipment, which is solid state logic. And it kind of opened up the tracks, and it's that kind of equipment just we didn't have it back.
It was back out of your price range, and now it can be some sort of an electronic add-on or an app or something like that, right?
It's all software now. It's all software. They're all plugins, and for $100 you can get an SSL channel strip and put it onto a mix. So, and that's really what I did. And you have to know how to use it. So we put it together, and actually you helped me, and we remastered the whole thing, and it does sound better. It sounds pretty good. No doubt.
I just, this might be a little bit of off the wall question, but this I don't need to prepare for this, but it's not going to be too scary. I know in a lot of places they don't like the digital sound as much as they used to, so they put on artificial sound to make it sound less digital. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Correct. Yeah. No. What they call that is saturation. When you record on 2-inch tape, it gives you a warmer sound, and digital is very dry or brittle or
brittle was where it's it. Yeah, I remember George Harrison saying it sounds good, but it's not what we sounded like. When he heard the remaster, sometimes you did not do that on the window though. That was what I liked. You kept a lot of the original sound, but you just enhanced it. I keep thinking of this kind of analogy of when I would go to a movie in a big theater. It has a bigger surrounding sound, and it has space to it, and that's what you seem to do.
Right. The instruments were separated too, right?
That's something, because they weren't separated really when they first recorded, but you made that through the remastering, which is really awesome, I think.
Yeah, there were some things that I know you had said, geez, I never heard that one instrument.
Right, exactly.
And because it was kind of masked in the mix because there were so many things going on, and with the new equipment, it opened it up so everyone you could hear everything really. So.
Well, from high tech, how about the low tech? I want to bring back a memory. We went and recorded at Lakeland Community College, and had a friend, Jimmy Fonstock, was taking courses there where he had to do videos on something to get through his class of video production. So I humbly said, hey, how about our band taping us so we could have 4 really good videos? And I'm joking about humbly, but I mean, it was an obvious opportunity to go in there and record. So we recorded. We did about 2 or 3 of my songs. And just when we were going to be ready to record your song, I Got My Eyes on You. All of a sudden, we put the tape in, which was a cassette. This was like low tech, and the cassette didn't work. And would you like to explain what happened? Because up to this point, I never knew this could happen to a cassette.
I'm not sure how it happened, but it was in my car, in my back seat, and everything had to be brought in to do the video, and I had to bring the tape in. And I don't know if I threw it in there or somebody else threw it in there, but I had a couple people helping me, and somebody threw the tape in the back of the amp, and there's a magnet on the speaker, and it erased the tape.
What are the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
What are the odds? So we wanted to be fair to you, and you wanted to be fair to record your song on video. And so you went home, and we had only an hour and a half or so to do some more recording. So that's why Sometimes I Wonder, there's a guy playing bass. We don't know who he is because he just came in and pretended he was in the band. I don't know who he is. I still don't know who he is. He was a nice guy.
Still don't know. Really.
Real nice.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I saw him. I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah. So that's everybody. Every once in a while, someone sees that video and say, "Who is that guy?" I say, I don't know. I never did know. So because he just filled in to make the video, and all of these things are available up on my website, DennyCarleton.com, and then just find Open Window, and you'll go and see all kind of little links to some of these videos and everything. So, so your song, "Eyes on You," I got my eyes on you. So. Well, we could just listen to it, or do you have any introduction for that song?
I was writing songs. I was naive back then, and I thought I could run a studio and write songs for other people. I think somebody told me they needed a pop song for something, so I wrote the song, and it ended up that's how the song came about. So, and then we ended up doing it and doing a video for it. So, and it was a local hit at Lakeland College, I think.
Well, we have a couple hundred views of it, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's black and white. It's kind of retro,
It is kind of 80s in a way on that one. Because we were in the 80s, so it was 80s. So let's listen to that. And you can also see this video up on the website at DennyCarleton.com if you go to Open Window. That was my interview with Mark Luthart, and I caught up with Mike Way, and we just started talking. Here's the interview with Mike Way, original bass player of the Surprise Band and The Window. One of my favorite memories was when you called me up in the middle of the night. I was just sitting at home by myself all day, and I got nothing to do. And you called me up and said, "Let's come up to the studio and record." And that's when we were talking, and you always liked Phil Spector. You liked that big Phil Spector sound.
Oh, still am a big Phil Spector fan. And we just came up with the idea for "Hold On Baby." We got Corey Weinberg to come up and play piano, and
one night.
It sounded pretty good.
Yeah, one night. And so, matter of fact, while we listen to this song that Mike and I wrote, Mike Way, he called me up randomly during the day, and I just went over and we recorded. So I'm going to go play "Hold On Baby." This is written by Mike and I, and it's been remastered for this new download, Open Window. You can get that on anywhere that music is played. So here's "Hold On Baby."
The possible dream about a girl and guy who meet each other. They end up not what they have seen. Both wanna stay, both wanna go. Both so in love, both afraid to show. But in the night they hold each other. They hold on to their dreams. Hear them, hold on baby, hold on baby.
So that was Hold On Baby. That's one that you and I wrote. And that was like, what was so cool about that, it was so spontaneous. You just called me. I knew you liked Phil Spector. I started fooling around on the keyboard, and then we made up that song. I always think that song could have been done more. But isn't that, for me as a songwriter, you could say that about every one of my songs. They're always like, it seemed like it could have been a little bit more on there, but that's life,
yeah,
you know?
I mean, I think if we would have put a little more time in, you know, in the production and maybe the writing.
The writing, yeah, a couple words are kind of, we talk real quick in there. I talk real quick when I'm singing it, or get some female singers in the background, or, you know, something, some little percussion.
Do run or something.
Yeah, know? I think so. I think it was that, or maybe even a duet. You know, a duet.
Yeah. Life is still in God's hands, man.
You never know.
He knows the master plan for us.
You
know?
You know. Yeah, it's the truth. One of my other favorite memories, and it's a weird one, is we had a gig, and you left the band after a while, after you were going through different personal things, and you left the band, and back after about a year and a half or so. And then you came back about 5 years later. We just started gigging and playing, just like you kept right on going. And by that time, you were playing with Tommy Mackle. Tom Mackle had joined the band. Right. Great guy, could play a bunch of instruments, Scottish. He passed away, but great guy.
Love Tom. Great musician all around.
Yeah.
You know.
You played bass, I played bass, and Tom played bass. We all took turns.
So we had 3 bass players and 3 guitar players. And
looking for a bass player. Well, they got 3 of them, you know.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So the one, you know, it's what I'm talking about is when we had the gig in Lorain, which is about 50 minutes from Northeast Ohio, Cleveland, and a little farther on the west side. And we got there, and we're going to supply the PA system. And we got to the gig. It was 10 to 12 or 11:30. We're going to start at 12 for this lunchtime thing, and then the PA was
it was like 2 little megaphone speakers, like with a Bogan challenge.
33, 45. Go. I got 45.
Yeah, boxing PA. And there we are in a big concrete arena-like thing, trying to play to a bunch of people sitting in bleacher-like concrete bleachers.
So you came back to the band, and then way before that, too, Roy LeBoy, and I think you played the bass, and I think that was one of a different combination. It was Roy LeBoy and Tom played recording. Sometimes I wonder, with you on the bass, Mark ended up going, when he dubbed it in later, and I think he engineered it. And
you did double 12 string?
I did double 12 string, very Roger McGuinn or Jim McGuinn, Birdsey, and Tom played 2 recorders.
Yeah, it was a fantastic song, one of my favorites.
I love that song. Yeah, so let's listen to Sometimes I Wonder.
Today I saw a young girl with a broken heart. The boyfriend up and left her, tore the world apart. They love him and they leave him with this sad refrain. Sometimes I wonder, has anything been really changed? Today I saw the wings of an eagle go to the
What do you do today? You don't live in Northeast Ohio. You live in Texas?
Yeah, I live in Texas now.
What part of that big old state?
Northeast Texas, towards the Oklahoma border. I've been playing in a small trio called the Old Souls Band, and I also played with a band from Louisiana for 11 years called the Atomic Pilot, the girl singer and guitar player, all original band.
It's nice. Is your stuff online or anything, or can anybody check out what you're doing?
Yeah, that Atomic Pilot changed the name. It's basically the same band. It's called Audio Viscosity.
Sounds good.
And Roxanne DeGray has got a webpage. You can find photos and recordings and stuff.
Sounds good, Mike. I think I got to go. It's been good to talk to you. Have a good day today, and we should stay in touch a little bit more.
Yeah, we should stay in touch more and tell the rest of the guys I said hello.
Okay, I will. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, Denny. We'll talk to you later, man.
Okay, bye. Mac Schafer, the drummer of the Window of the Surprise Band, and a good friend of mine. How are you doing, Mac?
I'm doing great, Daddy. How are you doing?
Good. We saw the good, the bad, the ugly through the bands. We saw how many years? 9 or 10 years we were in the band together.
Yeah, it one time I think it was kind of a record for Lake County bands.
Well, also ups and downs in the band, and it started off with Mark and Mike, and then we had Tom Mackel. And then at the end, it was sort of a musical. Everybody, different people showing up all the time. We had Randy for a while, Randy Clowan, and Al Globekar, but eventually it was just like whoever's showing up is playing.
Yeah, we had a lot of different people that played with us later on.
Yeah, so I already said like the history of the show, the band, but one of the things I thought was a turning point when Magic Radio, which was, I would say that was a really pretty big radio station at the time, right?
I think it was one of the top 2 or 3 in Cleveland area.
Yeah, and they asked us, I think I put they asked if they want to get a promo band, and it was in the Cleveland Scene magazine, and so I wrote to them or called and left our number, and they came and heard us, and they liked us, and they had us do these promos, and one of the things in the promo was they had us gather food for the poor, which was, I didn't see the tie-in, but it was a nice thing that they were doing,
Yeah, I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, and we did that about for 2 or 3 years, I think, and everywhere we went when we would play for Magic, then we liked the idea so much that we started doing it at our own jobs after Magic Radio actually got Michael Stanley to do it, and instead of we would get, a couple shopping carts of food, and he got a couple tons, and I think we were done after that. So I'm back here with Mac. Mac, we were talking before about what you're doing now, but I thought it might be fun just to talk about some of the memories we have. And one of the things that you always really liked was that when we played like covers and played around Northeast Ohio, and then at one point we started realizing we could have fun and go play at weddings and make a little extra money. And we did almost all oldies, 60s and 50s, and maybe a little 70s and 80s. And we just did oldies pretty much, and we played. But before we would play, Tommy Mackel, late Tommy Mackel, would walk around with me, and we were basically, what would you call it? We were troubadours. We would walk around the table.
That was it. It was a very unique idea.
Yeah, so before...
And then the rest, the other, whoever was with us, we would sit back, and you guys would go around to the tables and take requests and just play. No, I've never heard of anybody doing that before the band played. While they were eating or getting ready waiting for their food and stuff, you guys would go around. We would watch everybody, and they'd start singing, and they'd make requests. And the people at the tables had a lot of fun. They enjoyed that, I thought. But
I remember we would start off, and the people come in, they'd be a little bit stiff, and I remember they would start to drink, and the next thing they're rolling on the floor, as they used to do back in those days, boys and girls, like the Gator, and they would roll around on the floor, and I would always say, is this the same crowd that was here at the beginning? But they were inebriated at that point.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
They had partook. They used to dance to a song I wrote, If I Had a Bride. I remember they would dance to that. It was like, it was like beautiful, really. The other thing is the famous one. There's 2 famous wedding ones that we did. One was where it was the couple, the lady was upset because we told her that we did not know Daddy's Little Girl.
Right.
And I had never heard of that song before, but if anybody has it, that's when the father gives away his little girl, his daughter, who's now grown up, and she's going to go with another man and her husband and leave and have another male figure. But no one gave us the memo. The booking agent, to our memory, never told us we had to know that, and we didn't know the song. So we were stuck. And then...
I remember that there was a band called Moonlight Drive used to play in Cleveland. They were a Doors tribute band,
right?
And they played like every week, and it was the first time in 4 years that the sax player from the band had the night off, and he happened to be at this wedding. First time in 4 years. It just was like a miracle thing that happened, and he overheard the conversation and said, "Oh, I've got that music at home. I live about 15 minutes from here. I'll go get it." And then he went, got the music, came back, and you and Mark, I think, learned the music from the sheet music.
Right.
And then he brought his sax back, and he was up there like 2/3 of the night, or
Yeah.
3/4 of the night playing with us.
But then the other one was we were playing at, I think it was the Slovenian Club in Cleveland, downtown, right on the outskirts of downtown. This lady said, oh, could we play? The bride said, could the family get up there and play? They just jumped up there and they played. And we said, sure. I mean, they hired us and we let them play. And then, you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I remember all these guys had tuxes on.
Right.
They were all the groom and his party, and then the bride's up there in a wedding dress singing this rock and roll. And it turned out they were like the Osmond family or the Cowsill.
Well, it was Joey Tomczyk. Joey Tomczyk's a famous polka guy in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Mary Tomczyk has had a career, and she's a music teacher and a singer. Krista Haas is part of that family. He was in Odd Girl Out and plays with Steve Jock now, you know. So we didn't know that, though. We just knew this family was going to get up there. And they were like, really, we better be at least as good as us, you know. And with the wedding dress.
Last time we had to play.
Yeah, and she got up there with the wedding dress and said, "I Only Want to Be With You" by Dusty Springfield. I remember that.
They start doing these
With the
songs.
harmonies and everything.
Yeah, harmonies. The music was perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, we'll sit here and watch this.
They played a long time, if I remember it, too. They just sort of took over for a while. That was cool. And then the last one, our really famous one, we played at the Lake County Fair. And we had a little gimmick that we would ask people to come up. We had little rhythm sticks, and people could come up and sit and play with us, sing and play with us, just background harmony. And we'd get 10 people. Lake County Fair, I think we were one of the first rock bands ever to play at the Lake County Fair.
I'll tell you what that really was. That was Oktoberfest. They brought Oktoberfest from Cleveland, from the Cuyahoga Fairgrounds out to Lake County. And we were the first rock band to ever play at Oktoberfest. They were used to having like Oompa bands and stuff. And we were the first ones, and they put us over by the bleachers, over by the racetrack there, and had this portable stage. It was like an old hay wagon kind of portable stage for us. And all the people, we were like the alternative to the German polka band music. So there was like 1,000 people there,
if not more,
and standing on the racetrack watching us. Yeah, we invited all those people to come out. I think we did Moni Moni.
We did Moni Moni, and we did a long.
Yeah, we did the rhythm sticks.
Right.
And they all started, and then more and more people kept coming up there, and you could tell the rest of it because it
was 200 or 300 people, and I looked over and there was a pregnant woman there next to me. Right, you know, it's like, what is this? You know, and you know, and then the stage started to rock, and it felt like it was going to collapse.
I remember the microphones were like flipping up and down because the stage was just like, and then the guys doing the sound were like, "You got to stop! We got to stop!" Because I think the amplifiers were starting to bounce.
It wasn't as negative as Altamont or anything, but I remember like talking to the crowd. Oh, come on! Now hear me. Be cool. You know, I mean, it was serious.
Right. Then we had to ask everybody to slowly get off the stage. Yeah, that's definitely.
Let the lady with child go down first, okay? Now let's get going. You know,
right. Ladies and children off.
Yeah, that's about it, man. That was pretty.
That was one of the ultimate events or things that ever happened, I think, to us, and most memorable, I would say.
Thanks for listening to part 2 of The Window. And remember, Open Window, the CD, or the download, is available on all places where there's streaming or downloads. And also, you can check out my website, dennycarleton.com, to see if there's any more information or any more stories. There is a section on the website called Open Window, and you might want to check that out. Let's go out with one more chorus of Bring Music Back to the Jukebox by The Window, and thanks for listening.